is that's a moot point. It's not about the coolest thing being used. The coolest part about it is that it's used everywhere. It's not, I can't say, well, using that Google document is like, wow, that's blowing us away. It's just that students and teachers are just, they're just using them all the time for all kinds of things. And I think what is also happening is constantly people wanting to take it to the next level. So, for example, one teacher last year did a little presentation about summer reading, and she used that online presentation program called Prezi. Well, instantly, a bunch of teachers were captivated. They saw that she used it. Oh, that's interesting. Get online, it's pretty easy to use. Suddenly it was available, and kids and teachers started using it. It was really, it wasn't that we did a workshop on Prezi and said everybody must now learn Prezi. It's much more organic in a way. It just happens. And I think one of the things that we've noticed too is that some of the teachers that maybe initially were a little bit reluctant about using computers are now really using them quite a bit. And I think what we learned was that you really just had to pay attention to, some people were ready to be out there, they were ready to take the big dive, and other people had to get their feet wet in the water. But the people that were getting their feet wet are now swimming in the deep end of the pool, and they're doing fine for the most part. There's a couple of people that are still in the kiddie pool, but we're almost there. So.
What have you done as an administrator, and what have you changed over the 8 years to encourage that process?
Well, I mean, I'm a firm believer that modeling is really important. So if people see me never carrying Mike's computer around, or if I send paper memos, that would send a pretty strong message that I'm not really on board. So I try to do things all the time myself. We've provided a lot of professional development. And what we've learned is that the professional development, we need more now than we did in the beginning, which is counterintuitive. You think, oh, we provide it when you start. Well, the truth is, providing it when you start is about learning tools. Now, teachers are saying, we need time to develop lessons and so forth. And so we went from an old model, which was, it started with everybody's getting the same stuff. Then it became, here's 7 choices, or 5 choices, or 4 choices. And now it's, we've got an in-service day coming up. What are you thinking about working on? So that we can be prepared so that you can use that day effectively. And so in March last year on our in-service day, that's how we did it. We got people prepared, we spent some time before that time, and then when the day actually happened, people worked in pairs and 3s and 4s, and they had a very specific thing they were working on, and got a lot of support from Alice and Kathy and others. And the other thing we learned is you got to be careful not to use your really good people as the trainers all the time, because they need time as well. So that was one of the things we got a little feedback, like a couple people like, I need, can you not use me next time, because I'd like to be, nicely they say it, because they like to be able to help, but that's something we learned as well. So I think that stuff is really important. The time is critical collaborative time. So.
Interesting. What's interesting, Ted, is I'm seeing the same lessons about what's effective for student learning. The Bens have talked about how the teachers aren't, being really specific about how they show their learning or how they learn. And you're kind of saying the same thing about professional development, is that you're going to apply those same principles of learning to your faculty.
And for example, we did say at the beginning of last school year, everybody has to have a web presence. All the teachers have to have their assignments online and a calendar and all that stuff. But we didn't say how you had to do it. So some people have a wiki, and some people, right? You guys have probably teachers that have wikis and blogs and Google calendars and all that stuff. And students can figure that out. So can parents. It's not that hard. You got a link from the home page. But it allowed people to do what was going to be best for their particular course, as opposed to saying, well, everybody has to have a Google site. It's going to be just this formation. Great. You want to link off the site to a wiki? Fine. That's perfect, and it works great for some people. Or as long as we stay up and people keep thinking about the next step.
Maybe we could just